Target locked.
Alright, so today we're going to go over 219. This is the first step into being able to get the Invigoration and Ageless Wrath pieces. Everything up until this point is a tank and heal check, but this brings it to a whole new level because it introduces the golem with a shriek, which primitive golem lets out a jarring shriek, dealing damage equal to 100% of their max HP to all enemies. So it's not the golem's HP, it's all of your units' HP. So it'll be 150% of your Vortex or your Doloras or whoever you have on the field. It'll be 150% of their HP. So you have to find a way to mitigate that or to cheese around it. And that is the tactic we're going to use today. But just so you know, the way that you can go through it around is Sadie is very easily just timing it to get her rage regen to where you can ult every single wave, which is kind of hard to do, but that in conjunction with your tank ultimates that you might be using or vortex heal shielding can get you through it that way. But we're not doing that because I don't have any of those units. So what we'll be utilizing is the Volka A1 Awakening 1 cheese, which is simply your allies' revival time is 25% less. This is huge. But even with this, it comes down to very precise timing, which I was able to beat this, and then I have not perfectly recreated that for recording and after a couple sit downs and trying to do that. So I do have, or we'll go over recording that has one unit go through for the completion, this is just going to go over the step-by-step and very precise timing that is needed to be able to do this. And so you'll at least understand the basics of how to do that. So what it requires other than Volka A1 is 2 heroes that can delay their death or persist after their death. There is Regulus, there is Baron, and there is Decimus, which we will use here, who is very easy for anyone to get. He's just a rare, but you should skill him up fully to get the max 8 seconds of persisting after his death. And I'll show what that means is after he dies, he'll still stay there and tank, and he'll be invincible for 8 seconds. And he also has a very quick return time, which is utilized in every single wave of this, because he only has an 18-second, and that's also reduced by the Volka, 25% reduced once we get into team. But I do not have Baron, I do not have Regulus. What I do have, which this is not going to be a spotlight for, I will be doing a spotlight in Arena with him and with the only other person that I have of his faction, Vladov. Here coming soon. I'm gonna finish building him. Tomorrow there's the event for ranking up people and stuff, so I'll use that to get him up, and then I'll get a video out for him. This isn't a spotlight for him because the only reason this is possible is because of Volka A1 and very easily Decimus. But like I said, Regulus or Baron can also be used in the spot of Gone. So the only other things you need is a very good healer, which would be Vortex in my case. Hopefully everyone's been able to pick them up, but units such as Hollow could be used, but they would have to be fairly tanky because they're going to be utilized to tank the shots that one of the units and the elite guard they throw boulders that do AoE damage at the first platform unit that you place. So the tank that you place next to him will have to also be able to survive that, the tank or unit. In my instance, I'll be using Wrath as semi-cheap to eat up the rolling golems. A very low cost 2-star of Rider that is also just going to be used as fodder. You don't have to level him up at all. He's just going to be there to eat up a rolling golem if need be, and which I do use him in the recording. And then Volka's there for the revival time and in use of emergency, even though she's kind of expensive. I use her to eat up some of the rolling boulders at all. Also to note is Dolores would be very good to have the legendary artifact Spirit Horn, which increases initial rage by 25% when deployed, which it's not good for her in other aspects of the game, but for this one it gets her her rage bar full so that every single wave very quickly we can clear the wave. And I'm going to be clearing the wave with Vierna, but this can be used with Comet. This can be, I've seen people use Nocturne. I've seen people use Maul. Basically, you just got to get a DPS up high enough that can clear the wave in a timely manner. And then we remove everyone from the board, wait for the Golem Shriek to go off, and then rinse and repeat a few times with minor differences. So I'll go ahead and start the video, and I will try to go over it as it plays. So as it starts, we immediately place our DPS and our Dolores. I will speed up and slow down and often place your Decimus. He's going to die and then persist. You can immediately ult as soon as possible, clear the board, preferably with Decimus getting removed so you get the cost, half this cost refunded to you. Because cost is a big factor of doing this. So he does a shriek. He's going to roll in. With this wave, you can wait until he slams, and there will be a flashing light right there. And then you place Decimus. That allows him to persist long enough. You can place your healer. And as soon as they're up with a DPS and Dolores, you can then get rid of Decimus. Really, you can get rid of him as soon as he takes that second hit from the Golem. Just to make sure that you get the refund of him. I was a little, I still managed to get him, but could have been quicker on that. And then I use Olag to eat the second wave, the second roll, and then like I said, I'm using Wrath to just temporarily tank the wave long enough for Vierna to get her ult up and the wave to come in to kill. His stats don't really matter; it just has to be someone that can live through the golem's AoE chunking boulders. And then you ult and remove the board as quickly as you can. And then after a moment, the golem will shriek again. And then this wave, you can place your people before it starts earth shaking. It does it after. So you're gonna have to eat all of the earth shaking, which Gon is able to not only tank the golem rollers and get rid of Decimus after the second roll, but Gon's able to tank it, survive, and tank the next wave for me to get Vortex out. And then as soon as you can, get your Dolores and your DPS out and wait for the wave to come in. You can use your tank's ultimates as they come up, but they're not necessary unless they might not be geared enough to survive without it. Mine are, but I just go ahead and use them because they're up. And then as soon as you can, clear the wave. If you're using Vierna, you want to wait a second, and if they're still alive, if you're using her ult, she'll have her execution. Which may finish them off, but she has to be on the board for the execution to go through. This one you can get a couple slams in, but there's not really a telltale like the first roller wave, but you place it in, and this is where I probably messed up. I waited too long placing Decimus, and that slowed me down placing Olag, allowing the boulder to go behind him, which then made me have to hurriedly place to catch it. But if it was behind it, it would have probably, I believe, if I remember the first time, made it catch up with the first rolly, and then throw fodder in to eat up the boulders as needed. This is where the one goes through. But if I had not let that boulder go through, then I believe they would have caught up with each other, and I could have sacrificed one unit to eat both of them. Gone, placed in the last second. This allows you to place a unit to the side and a unit behind it to attack it once it gets done raging. It's now going to rage, so don't place anyone. I'm low on cost here, but that's fine because it's going to rage and slam, I believe 15, at least 15 times, I think. It's going to rage for a while, in which you just have to live. If your tank happens to fall, which mine does this time, it won't move until it's done raging. So you can continue to get cost and not have to share healing around until rage ends, and then quickly place it down a tank, get your DPS down, and start DPSing. And then you're waiting for cost, throw down units, and you're on your way to being able to complete 219. So, like I said, this can be done with several different units, but the main ones is Dolores. Although she could be, I've seen people substitute Laurel to get some more damage into the ult of your DPS with her passive, and then you can, or they can use her to place her and then despawn her to get your unit's rage bar fill up faster. If you need that, if you just need your DPS to clear the wave to get their ult faster, because some people don't get their rage as quickly as possible. Like Comet's a lot slower, so Laurel might help him get that if you have her over Dolores. Like I said, Gone can be substituted with Baron or Regulus. And then basically you just need tanks and enough people to throw at the golems to sacrifice themselves to eat them up. It's messy. It's very precise timing. It can be aggravating, but with this information, hopefully you guys are able to push further in this. And the good thing about this is with this timing and this cheese with Volka, you're able to very easily then complete Gear Raid 2, 20, and 21. They just become a little bit tougher, so you might have to increase your DPS a little bit. I'm able to kill the waves just fine. I do need to either substitute my Wrath for his placement in the second wave or make him tankier because he gets bombarded by the golem tossing boulders and does not live through that. But just some minor tweaking and you're able to more easily get through to 20 and 21 in Gear Raid 2 with this tactic. So best of luck to all you guys, and hopefully you guys get some great gear.